Welcome to another episode of BSing Through Sports, and today's episode is football heavy. We'll be going over the Dolphins, our Miami Dolphins, wrapping up two joint practices against the Atlanta Falcons, who they will be facing on Friday in their first preseason game, how they looked, some breakout players, some standout players, and our first game of Yes or BS, where I'll give you a statement I found, and I'll tell you if it's correct or if it's BS. So let's start with that. Yes or BS? The top 30 quarterbacks of the latest NFL draft will find success in their first year in the NFL. And I give that BS. The top quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL draft were 1, 2, and 3 pick. That means lots of pressure for these quarterbacks to pan out and lots of eyes on them in their first season. Lots of expectations. Caleb Williams, first pick for the Bears. Jaden Daniels, second pick for the Commanders. And then Drake May, third pick in the draft for the Patriots. While I do have a quarterback in this group that I think will be set up to have the most success and will have the most success in their first year, I believe we won't see much success from this quarterback group. Why? Because all these rookie quarterbacks have one thing in common, and that's they all have defensive coaches. Matt Eberflus is in his second year defensive coach for the Bears. Dan Quinn in his first year, and he's a defensive coach for the Commanders. Jerod Mayo in his first year, and he is a defensive coach for the Patriots. And in my opinion, for a quarterback to be successful in his first year playing in the NFL, you have to have a connection with him between an offensive coach. And for example, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, even though Patrick Mahomes sat his first year, this was still his first year playing with Andy Reid. He was successful. Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow, successful. And even everyone's seen what happened with Mike McDaniel and Tua. When Mike McDaniel came in, immediate success. When Brian Flores was there, defensive coach in his first 2 seasons, terrible. It was day and night difference. And Brian Flores is a defensive head coach, a Patriots defensive head coach, and that's different. So Jerod Mayo, Patriots defensive head coach, even though he's supposed to be a clean slate away from the Belichick regime, we might see some of the similarities there. And most recently, of course, what Kyle Shanahan was able to do with Brock Purdy. And that was the most impressive. 7th round quarterback, he was able to make him a Super Bowl quarterback. Now, which quarterback out of these top 3 picks do I think will have success in the 2024-2025 NFL season? Is it going to be Drake May? No. Is it going to be Jaden Daniels? No. It's going to be Caleb Williams. Now, you may think that's the easy answer out. The first pick in the draft, the most talented quarterback in the draft, I think will be the most successful quarterback out of the top 3. He's obviously the most talented in the draft. And the Chicago Bears have spent this offseason getting him weapons to help him out and making him feel comfortable this season. They traded for Keenan Allen, got DeAndre Swift, and drafted Romeo Dunze, who they were high on, and apparently some reports say they would have drafted Dunze over Marvin Harrison, which is incredible. Also, the questions for the Bears offense is not their weapons, it's not their quarterback, it's their offensive line. Well, fortunately, Caleb Williams spent his whole time in USC running away from linemen due to terrible offensive line. So it would be nice for Caleb Williams to have some good offensive line, but he's not used to good offensive line. So he has weapons, he has a defense to rely on that's pretty damn good, and he's comfortable with a terrible offensive line. I think he'll have the most success out of Drake May and Jaden Daniels his first season. Now, is that a surprise? No, but that's what the yes or BS question led to. Now, I keep saying, I don't think these top 3 quarterbacks will be most successful in the NFL, or their first year in the NFL. Who do I think? Which rookie quarterback do I think will have the most success in their first year in the NFL if they play? And they probably will. And that is J.J. McCarthy. Not only has he been a standout in training camp, but his weapons are better than any rookie in this draft. With Justin Jefferson, the second best receiver in the league behind Tyreek Hill. Of course, number 1 player voted. Patty Mahomes fans cry. Chiefs fans go cry. Tyreek Hill is the number 1 player in the NFL. Jordan Addison is also on the Vikings. And now Aaron Jones, a running back, is also on the Vikings. 3 Pro Bowl talents. Jordan Addison, he's going to have a breakout season this year. He had a great rookie season last year. Justin Jefferson, of course, second best receiver in the NFL. Aaron Jones, great running back. Along with the third best ranked offensive line last year when it comes to pass blocking. Last season, of course. This offense out of all rookie quarterbacks is the offense set up to win. Along with great offensive coach and Kevin O'Connell, an offensive coach, but I think a quarterback needs to find success in his first year. An offensive coach to deal with the pressure. It'll take some pressure off of him. An offensive coach. The only thing holding J.J. McCarthy back this upcoming season, and the only thing holding J.J. McCarthy back from becoming a possible Rookie of the Year candidate is playing in a tough division. He's playing in a division where they have the Lions, the Packers, and the most improved Bears. So that's also what I think is holding back Caleb Williams from finding lots of success in his first year, is playing in this division. This division's tough. They have great quarterbacks, great offensives. It's a tough division. Any of these teams, I think, in my opinion, the Vikings, the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions, can't make the playoffs. Wild card sneaking, of course. Who do I think will win the division? I'm going to say it right here, right now. The Lions. I'm telling you, J.J. McCarthy will shock many. Now, Dolphins training camp. The Dolphins wrapped up training camp today. They had 2 joint practices, Tuesday and Wednesday, against the Atlanta Falcons. 2 fights. 1 in each training camp. 2 fights. Apparently, one was started by Ethan Bonner, who is, according to Omar Kelly, a breakout player. He said, Ethan Bonner versus Drake London all day, and it looks like Bonner belongs. When you face Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle-Daly, who exactly do you fear? Which is true. These quarterbacks are matched up against 2 of the fastest, most explosive receivers in the league every single day. And when they go against Drake London, who's not very explosive, but he is really good, he is an all-pro talent, you know what to expect. You can't back down from anything at that point. Drake London getting locked up by Ethan Bonner. I also saw some clips of Ethan Bonner locking him up. I heard Ethan Bonner might have started the fight on Tuesday. I don't know for sure. Chop Robinson, Ethan Bonner, 2 different reports. They're conflicting. I don't know what happened. But Ethan Bonner is exactly what the Dolphins need. He's fast, of course. We've been known that since last training camp. But the Dolphins' DBs, in my opinion, besides the safeties, so the cornerbacks are questionable. Kader Kohu, did he really show much of that season? Xavier Howard's gone. Jalen Ramsey's still here. He's good, of course. But the Dolphins need some DBs. Cam Smith, we didn't see much of him. That might have been a Vic Fangio problem. We'll see this season. So getting a breakout DB out of training camp is incredibly important. I can't wait to see how he plays Friday, if he does play in the preseason games. And of course, the biggest breakout, Tyreek Hill. He hasn't been a breakout. The biggest standout this whole training camp has been Tyreek Hill. He's been catching bombs for 2 years practice. You see him flipping over the gates, celebrating with the fans after catching 50-yard bombs every damn day during training camp. Tyreek Hill got paid. 3 years, $90 million, $65 million guaranteed. We made him happy, and that's important. Especially after giving Tua an extension, it's important to make our best player and the number 1 player in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs fans, cry. To make the number 1 player in the NFL happy and satisfied. He is, besides Tua, this offense, and we need him to take pressure off of Tua, to make Tua's job easier, to make it faster. It's all about the fast release of the quarterback, and guess what? Tyreek Hill's the fastest receiver. So that's just going to match up perfectly. We need to make him happy. It's important to make him happy. Now, I think this should be his last contract with the Dolphins. He's going to get less explosive. We might see that in year 2, hopefully. But the Dolphins want to win now. They're showing they want to win now by making Tyreek Hill happy, paying Jalen Waddle, paying Tua, paying Bradley Chubb, paying all these players. We've been known Stephen Ross wants to win now, and he showed it again. $65 million guaranteed, 3 years, $90 million. Number 1 player in the NFL. Dolphins were going to win the Super Bowl.